Today I'm going to share with you the hidden secret to health. When we talk about health, one of the most common quotes you'll ever hear is that health is one of our greatest assets. But what is an asset? An asset is something that has value. Everybody wants it. If you have it, other people would like to be able to get it from you somehow. It requires an exchange. I know most of us would love to win Tats Lotto and just magically appear with an enormous amount of money, but the fact is that most of our real assets in our life we've had to work for. We've had to exchange something in order to get that asset. And it's the same with health. Health is an asset. It has to be worked towards. We have to exchange in order to get it. It has worth. There's things that you can do with it. If you're healthy, you have energy, vitality. You have the ability to do things with your body and your mind that you don't have when you don't have health. Something you can enjoy. Everybody knows what it's like to be lying on the couch feeling miserable when you've got the flu, as opposed to what it feels like to be healthy and vibrant outside enjoying the sunshine and the great outdoors. You can use it. So if you don't have health, then it's hard to work, it's hard to exercise, it's hard to enjoy your recreation. If you have health, you can work harder, you can exercise harder, you can do everything to a much higher level. It's like insurance. If you have good health, then when illnesses and sicknesses come upon you, you're able to recover from them quickly. If you're not healthy, then when things do happen to you, they last for ages. They're hard to get over. It's like you don't have this insurance policy inside of you that supports you when you're actually going through a struggle. And it's an investment. If you're investing in your health now, it's going to pay you back with dividends later on. If you're 50 years old and have to take 6 months off because of a chronic health disorder that you've developed from lifestyle choices you've made in the years before, then you're not going to be able to work, you're not going to be able to earn, you're not going to be able to enjoy your life. Whereas if you have invested and placed value in your health, then you're going to be able to utilize that when you're older. You'll be more active, you'll be more productive, you'll be more valuable to the society around you. So what is health though? I guess a lot of us associate health with pain and discomfort, in the sense that when we have a pain or we have a problem, we suddenly think that we're not healthy. And if that pain disappears, then we think we're healthy, even though internally there may be all sorts of problems going on. So I see it so much as a healthcare professional, where people come in and when they're in pain, they'll make lots of promises, lots of commitments, and be willing to do anything that I tell them. 2 weeks later, when that pain's diminished or is even gone, they're suddenly vanished and they're not interested in listening to anything that I have to tell them. So their priorities change. Some of us regard health as just when we don't have a particular diagnosis. So some people have had health problems and they've been to the doctors and had blood tests and x-rays and different things, and the doctors can't find anything with these pathology tests. And the doctor says to them, well, you're basically healthy, when in fact all of the signs and symptoms tell us that that person is not healthy. So a disease diagnosis is not necessarily a measure of how healthy you are. So most of us intuitively know that health is more than just the absence of pain and discomfort. We know that it's more than the absence of a label or a diagnosis from some specialist. We know that it goes into our emotional, our physical and our spiritual well-being. Do we feel happy? Do we feel content? Can we do the things with our body that we want to be able to do? Do we feel peaceful? Do we feel connected to the world around us? So if you had to give it another name, you could call it quality of life. Can you do everything that you want to do and feel good while you're doing it? So here's my question for you today. In terms of health, do you have as much as you would like to have? And whenever I ask this question in workshops, nearly always the hands go up and people say, I would like more health. I would like to feel better. I'd like to have more energy. I'd like to be able to do more with my life. So today I'm going to expose one of the, perhaps an urban myth, in the sense that what is the major risk factor for you developing bad health, for you losing your health? And nearly always the number one factor that is quoted is this thing called stress. So I'm going to blow the lid on that a little bit today, because what I'm going to say to you is that stress in and of itself is not the thing that's going to make you unhealthy. It's not the thing that's going to drive you to an early grave. So let's just backtrack one step, because here I am, Dr. Nick Hodgson. I've been a chiropractor for 26 years, and here I am standing in front of you talking about health. So here's a question I always ask at the start of all of my talks in the public. I always say, tell me what are the first words that come to your mind when you hear the word chiropractor or the word chiropractic? And I like to let people get things off their chest. So the usual things that are thrown at me are bones, muscles, pain, back doctor, crack, crunch, bone cruncher. I've even been called quack. So there's a lot of words that are just associated with chiropractic, and they're not necessarily related to what we would call health. But here's the interesting thing. I've been studying and practicing now for what's probably 30 years, for 60% of my life. And the thing that got me excited about chiropractic, and the thing that still gets me excited about chiropractic, is the concept of improving your health. Everything that I look at, everything that I do in my practice is about helping people to become healthier. And the reason for this is the connection between what a chiropractor does and the nervous system. And I know sometimes this is a hard link to make, but hopefully we're going to help you to make this link through this short presentation. So your nervous system controls and influences absolutely everything that your body does. So what I'm going to be introducing you today is a process, a system, a method, a technique that I've developed over the last couple of years that I'm now calling new tone. Another way of thinking of it is advanced neural tuning. So as I said, everything that I do is about improving your nervous system. And new tone to me is the culmination of everything that I've learnt, researched and developed over the last 26 years in practice, to the point where we're now seeing really positive changes in people's nervous systems much more consistently and to a greater degree than I've ever seen before. So something that I've observed as a practitioner, when someone comes in to see me for the first time, they're usually in pain, they've usually got some sort of dysfunction in their joints or their muscles. Some people come with more complex health problems, but the majority of people come in with this almost unspoken desire that they're going to come into me, I'm going to do something with my hands, and when they leave the office, their body is going to be somehow restored back to how it was before they developed that problem. Everybody's kind of got this secret hope that there's a button that can be pressed that makes their pain disappear, that makes their body move and twist and bend the way that it should do, that makes these annoying symptoms and signs vanish from the way their body is. Here's the problem though. It doesn't matter what I do to you while you're on the table or in my office, you're going to leave in exactly the same body that you arrived in, with all the same things that have accumulated in that body over the last weeks, months, years. So unfortunately, the bottom line is that there is no magic button. You're not going to ever leave any practitioner. There isn't a guru out there that is going to change your body from the condition that it's in right now to this perfect condition that you'd like to have by just one thing that they're going to do to you on one particular day, on one particular visit. So we can't give you a new body, but here's what we can do. We can help you to have a reconditioned body. And we all know that a reconditioned vehicle can work just as well as a brand new one. It can look as good and work as good as the original piece of machinery once it's been reconditioned. So there's obviously a process of reconditioning that needs to occur for that to happen. So I said to you earlier that I was going to dispel the myth of stress, and I was going to tell you what is the major risk factor for sickness and health problems. And here it can be summed up in one word, and that word is tension. So stress can't make you sick, but the way that your body adapts to and responds to and stores your reaction, your physical, emotional, chemical reactions to those stressors, that's what can make you sick. You could put two people in exactly the same stressful circumstances. One person that will, stress them, it will create tension in their body, and it will lead them to being sick. The other person will enjoy it, find it invigorating, find it challenging, and still come out of it with hope and expectations, and it will have absolutely no effect on their health or their well-being. So it's the way that each of those person reacts to the stresses in life that determines whether or not they're going to be healthy or sick. So if this tension issue is the cause of us to become unhealthy, to develop aches and pains and stiffness and tightness and tension and problems internally, what's the solution? And it would make perfect sense that the logical solution to tension is to learn strategies to release tension, to diminish tension, to let go of the tension that we're storing up and holding up inside of our body. Tension is really abnormal storage of energy that we're putting inside our body in different places, and we all know intuitively that we all store our tension in different parts of our body. Some people will get headaches, some people will get a stiff neck, some people's lower backs will go out, some people's digestive system will rumble, some people will clog up in their immune system. Everybody has their weak spots, so to speak, that they store and hold their tension, and that's where they break down. So to learn how to release tension is going to be the strategy to prevent these problems from accumulating to the point of being disastrous for us. So to understand how this all connects together, we have a stressor that's coming from outside of the world that's somehow getting into us through this concept of tension and being bottled up inside of us. All of this is happening somewhere in our nervous system. And to understand how this happens, we need to understand this concept of what are called neural gateways. So right now, there's lots and lots of little sensory, what are called receptors, all over your body, inside and out, that are sensing all kind of different variables that are outside in the universe and that are inside in our own internal environment. And each of those sensors, those receptors, is sending this information up through the nervous system. And to get to the brain, it has to pass through little gateways, little filter points. So most of us can understand the five senses. We can see things, we can hear things, we can smell things, we can taste things, we can sense the touch of things. And we know about those, but the majority of these sensations are all subconscious. We don't know about them, which is just as well, because imagine if you were aware of every single piece of information inside and out, it would just completely overload your conscious brain. So these little pieces of information that are travelling up through your nervous system, they have to get to strategic points in your mind that your body can then process that and make decisions about it and then change what's going on in the inside of your body. So it's a little bit like your post office collection centre. All of this mail coming into the collection centre has to be sorted, put into the right places to go to where they need to be sent. And we know from our postal experiences that sometimes the letters don't get to where we want them to go. Sometimes they never get to their destination. And it's the same in our nervous system. There can be problems within this delivery system, in these gateways within your nervous system, that mean that the information never gets to where it's going to. And if it's not there, then the brain can't make good decisions, and then it starts to make faulty actions as a result of that incorrect information. there's this concept of problems in the gateway system, in the nervous system, this inability to process correctly the information that's coming in, and because of that to make good decisions. And we've always heard about this concept in terms of computers, where they call it junk in, junk out, or garbage in, garbage out. If you put the wrong information into a computer, you're going to get the wrong outlet, the wrong output, the wrong decision, the wrong conclusion. And it's the same in our nervous system. We're very dependent on our sensory system to know what's going on and to make the right subconscious decisions to make our body healthy, to keep our body functioning properly. So in chiropractic, we've talked about this concept from a different point of view. In chiropractic, we've talked about this concept of what's called a subluxation. And the most important thing to take home from this is that a subluxation is a blockage in the information travelling through your nervous system. I know classically most people associate this word with bones being out of place or stuck, nerves being squashed or pinched, but that's it's basically a traditional way of illustrating what a subluxation is. But in reality, what this subluxation is more about energy, more about nerve transmission, more about electricity than it is about bones and structure. And it's about the blockage and the breakage of the information passage through your nervous system. So let's quickly backtrack on what we've learnt so far. So information is being transmitted up and down your central nervous system every millisecond of your life. This is how your body monitors and maintains normal internal functions. It gets information, makes decisions, makes changes. Based on those changes, new information comes up, makes a new decision. So there's this constant up and down superhighway of information going on through your nervous system. So malfunctions can occur in the gateway system, in the transmission somewhere of this information, somewhere along the communication pathways is getting broken down. So this might be experienced as pain. If something is literally malfunctioning, then there's going to be an enormous amount of signals coming up to the brain, and the way your body perceives this is as being, it's warning signs, it's signals that something needs to go on there. But it may be subconscious. It may be something you're not even aware of that's going on at a subclinical level. So as chiropractors, we call this electrical and energetic malfunction. It's something called subluxation. So how do we get these neural gateways working properly again? And again, from the neural gate theory, the answers come to us because they learnt from the neural gateway theory that one way to block abnormal signals that are coming up through the nervous system is to bypass them with stronger, more harmonic, more balanced frequencies. So you intuitively know this is true because what do you do when you've got a sore spot? You either rub it or you shake it, and what you're literally doing is sending in stronger impulses to inhibit and block that pain. If you go for a massage, if you go to a chiropractor, if you go to an acupuncturist, they're putting interventions into specific areas in your nervous system to send in better rhythms, better balances. And the hope is that then your nervous system will start to make different decisions and will allow the body to heal more efficiently. So in terms of new tone, one of the key things that we're tapping into is a perfectly natural physiological, neurological phenomenon that I've called therapeutic fasciculation. So this is based on the principle that any muscle group, particularly large muscle groups, at some point in its contraction, there will be a point of tension where it starts to oscillate and to vibrate. Some people call it tremor, some people will call it trembling, and the scientific word is fasciculation, where the muscle literally starts to vibrate and oscillate. In new tone, we're tapping into this as being a very therapeutic phenomenon. So most of us, if we were at the gym and we were lifting some weights and our body started to jump and twitch, we'd try to find a way to stop it from happening because it would be a bit concerning. But in new tone, we teach you some strategic postural exercises where you can hold and slowly increase the tone and tension in that position to actually facilitate and to activate this thing that's called therapeutic fasciculation. So you literally be holding these positions and enjoying this really nice vibration. The benefit of this is that number one, you're activating a lot of downward information into those muscles to get them to that point of contraction. Number two, once they start vibrating, you're sending massive waves of harmonic, strong signals back up into the nervous system. So it's like a cleanse, it's like a flush out or a defragmentation, if you use a computer analogy, for your nervous system. So some of the benefits of tapping into this particular physiological phenomenon: you can diminish and even reset pain syndrome. So obviously if you're sending in these really strong signals and activating large muscle groups, it's a really effective way of resetting the pain signals that may have been coming in through that part of the nervous system. You're going to be toning and conditioning the deepest spinal muscles, which helps to improve your movement and even your postural alignment. And it's a really quick way of doing a little workout, just simply on the floor at home. You can activate large muscle groups in a very short space of time and really tone and improve the condition of those core muscles. And as I said before, we're also clearing out the neural matrix gateway system. We're sending up these positive waves of information and energy and electricity up and down the nervous system to really improve the pathways between your brain and your internal functions, your mind-body connections. And the real benefit that we're finding for most people, and the feedback we're getting, is that it's a fabulous way of releasing enormous amounts of stored tension, that helps to relax us and then improves our ability to cope with stress and strain around us, so that we're literally internally, neurologically making better decisions and having better balance and connection with our internal environment and with the world around us. So many people are saying to us that it's just that they can just literally release tension themselves. The other benefit is that we can now also integrate this phenomenon of therapeutic fasciculation into a chiropractic adjustment. And by adding those two things together, we're seeing much deeper and faster responses to the way that we're looking after people, which is probably the most exciting thing I've seen in 26 years of practice.